Hi everyone, this is Luxtos, and today I'm bringing you a brand new video about the Death Knight WeakAuras update. We are now in Phase 2, that means PvP talents, improved suggestion, new rune system, and a lot of cool stuff. So, let's get right into it. We're going to start off with Blood. I'm going to show you some small improvement that I did overall. The class hasn't changed much, but I deleted some auras that didn't make a lot of sense. I remade some of them just to streamline everything, keep things clean and working fine. So first of all, you're going to notice that we have PvP talents active. So I have Death Chain, Strangulate, and Dark Simulacrum that are all showing up in the interface. Those are going to show up in what we call no instance. So that means in outdoor world PvP, they're going to show up in arena and battleground. So those are not going to cluster your interface while you're doing 5-man dungeon, while you're doing raid and all that cool stuff. As you can see, I just proc Unholy Strength from my Rune of the Fallen Crusader. And instead of being an aura in the specific group right here, it is now a little purple line. So this is just going to make it so that since it's an aura that procs often, it kept moving around the specific group up here. That was an issue. And I just wanted to keep it a little bit cleaner, less moving particle and stuff like that. So we're just going to have this little purple bar right there at the bottom so that you can time your burst and all of that cool stuff with all 3 specs, of course. The next improvement that we made is going to be with Ossuary. So instead of having Ossuary up here whenever you go over 3 stacks of Bone Shield, right? It's going to simply show up right over the Bone Shield. This is going to reduce the amount of icons that are showing up here, and it's going to keep everything a little bit more cleaner. So this is just going to be a little bit more clean. It's just going to be more concise, and we like that, right? The next update we did is we finally have the Blood Shield tooltip. So it's going to let you know roughly how much Blood Shield you have available. So you can know if you're going to survive certain type of damage and stuff like that. So that could be useful information. Of course, we just sacrifice the number for the cooldown to make space for it, but you still have the gradient going over and reducing whenever the shield is about to run off, right? So that's still available information, but you now have the number at least on how much Death Strike is going to absorb. Some other stuff have been changed. So if I Death and Decay, you're going to see that whenever it is active, it's currently flashing. Just to help you notice if you are in the Death and Decay or if you are outside of it, right? So this is going to be a recurring pattern that whenever an icon and an active state are one over the other, the active state is going to flash, just so you can clearly, at first glance, without really looking at it, know whether something is active or not, right? So that's going to be also the case, for example, with Rune Tap, right? So whenever I go out of cooldown, there you go. So if you activate Rune Tap, it's going to flash, letting you know that Rune Tap is currently active, and then it's going to go back to its current cooldown state. There you go. So that's going to let you see relevant information. It doesn't mean that it's about to run off. It's just mean that you're looking at the active buff and you know whether you're reducing damage in your Death and Decay or stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty useful. Everything has been streamlined, so not much has been changed on these row. Everything is pretty straightforward all over the place. It's just the inclusion of PvP talents and some minor tweaks. As you can see, the runes are now working properly. So that means that whenever you have available runes, just like the default UI, they're going to be on the left. And when they're empty, they're going to move out to the right. So that's going to be a little bit easier for you to notice if you have available runes instead of having all of them scatter all over the place. So that's going to be good. That's going to imitate the exact same system that you can have here. So if you want to hide this one or move your interface around, everything is going to be placed nice and centered in your screen, right? Okay, so we're done right now for Blood. Let's go into Frost, right? As soon as we get out of cooldown, of combat, sorry. Not much has changed for Frost. I'm just going to show you. So I'm using some weird spec right now. Nobody's really playing Glacial Advance, but that's just to show you what I did with it. Everything is pretty straightforward. Of course, we have PvP talent, so you're going to see something like Chill Streak showing up right up here. If you use your Pillar of Frost, it's going to start flashing, letting you know that it is active. So that's going to be, at first glance, you're going to be able to see, is it on cooldown or is it active? This is just a visual helper letting you make the difference without looking straight at it. So if you're fighting a boss, doing an encounter or something, that helps you try to focus your attention on what's really important. Exact same thing for Remorseless Winter. So at first glance, I know that it's currently ticking off because it is flashing. So that's pretty cool, right? I made sure to reverse all of the cooldown clocks just to make sure that they would fit what is actually getting displayed into World of Warcraft. One small change I made so that you can see that Unholy Strength for all spec is still the same thing right there at the bottom, the small purple line. And also what I did is Glacial Advance, since it is a rune expander just like Froststrike. The only thing pretty much that you need to track is its cooldown, right? Because it's going to be very situational. It's not something that you can cleave, and it's not something that you want to do when you have X amount of target near you, because you have to face it in the right direction. So it's something that you have to be very wary of your positions and stuff like that. So what I decided to do is, instead of having an extra icon over here, every time that you use it, if you're talented into it, it's going to tick a cooldown over Froststrike. Froststrike is never going to be on cooldown, so there's no way you could confuse it with something else. Of course, if you don't watch this video and the instruction over it, it might not be something that you understand at first glance, but I think that it's a good way of introducing Glacial Advance cooldown, since, I mean, you're either going to use Glacial Advance if it's available on AoE, or you're going to use Froststrike, right? It's not something you want to use both at the same time. It's you're either spending rune over here doing AoE, and when not on cooldown with Glacial Advance, or you're spending your runic power somewhere else on Froststrike or Breath, for example. So this is going to simply show you the cooldown of the spell. So if you don't see any clock going over Froststrike, you know that Glacial Advance is available. That's a pretty neat way of showing it. I'm pretty happy about it, so we're going to keep it like that. If you guys like it or don't for some reason, just make sure you put suggestion at the bottom in the comments. You know that I reply to comments, and you know that I listen as much as I can to suggestion to try to improve these over time, right? So I think that's going to be it for Frost. There is not much that has changed. It's pretty much just things that I've cleaned up. You know, sometimes you would see glow showing behind icons. I make sure that that does not happen anymore. I made sure to introduce all the PvP talents that are cooldown based. So I'm not tracking stuff like Delirium or things like that, because I don't think that's really helpful to track as a weak aura. Those should be tracked as debuff on plate or on target. I don't think those need to be tracked as a weak aura. It's mostly going to be Dark Simulacrum, AMZ, and all that good stuff that you're going to be able to track now with this new update on those weak auras, right? A lot of changes are coming for 8.1 for DK. We don't know yet the extent of those changes, but as soon as they're on the PTR and being able to test them and all that good stuff, I'm going to be updating those to be sure that we're ready when the patch hit live, right? So we're going to be able to modify those. For example, the Lichborn new talent, something like that replaces AMF. So we're going to see. We're going to see what's up with that. We're going to have to check out what new talents. So Icebound Fortitude is going to be replaced, I think, with the new talent. So I might not need to touch anything on the weak auras, but I know that they plan on adding more. So we'll see, but I'll keep them updated for 8.1. Don't worry about it. We're going to go into Unholy. I haven't changed much into Unholy, but yet again, it has just been streamlined, right? So all of the PvP talents, again, are going to be tracked. So if you're playing with AMZ or anything else, all of that good stuff is going to be tracked. Virulent Plague is now going to be desaturated whenever it is not available. So that's going to be a bit more streamlined with other classes like Warlock and other dot class that works the same way. I've reduced the glowing timer on Virulent Plague to be 3 to 4 seconds or less. It was 5 to 6 seconds. That was a bit too high because Virulent Plague doesn't really work with Pandemic because it pandemics itself because of the outbreak system. Since Outbreak constantly reapply Virulent Plague, it automatically pandemics itself. So you don't need, you would usually want to refresh it whenever it's very low on duration. So that's why that I've reduced the glowing condition to be very close to the end. Usually it is suggested that you do refresh it at 3 seconds or less. What I did is I did 4 seconds so that you have time to actually see the glow at 3 seconds and then take the action required. I changed a little bit how Festering Strike and Festering Wounds work. So I never glow with an actual number of wounds, right? I only show you whenever you do not have wounds because I think that's the most important part. Because right now with the current gameplay, especially with Fester Might, you kind of try to keep them at low stack. So we're currently playing at low stack. We're not trying to reach like a big amount and then spend them. We usually just rotate and try to spend them as they come. So I'm not really giving them any glow on any amount of stack. You have to check those out for yourself. I just wanted to make sure that we reduce the amount of glow overall, have it be a little more simple and straightforward. So that's gonna be pretty good. Everything else has been streamlined. So just like every other spec, we now have those flashing conditions letting you know that stuff is currently active, and you're gonna be able to take according actions upon it. And that's going to be pretty good. There is one exception to Unholy. I make Dead and Decay glow when you're in it because I believe it is much more important information than for Blood. It is good for Blood because it lets you cleave and all that good stuff, but I believe that it is so detrimental to Unholy playstyle that I make sure that Dead and Decay is glowing as well as flashing whenever you are in it. Okay? And for Blood, Dead and Decay is only flashing whenever you get a free cast. So I just wanted to differentiate those two big difference between Blood and Unholy. Everything else is pretty straightforward. So it's just been improved overall. You have all of your PvP talents now, so you can go ahead and even though Death Knights are not doing fantastic at the moment in PvP, you're now able to track all of those good abilities in PvP, and you're going to be able to do all of that cool stuff. I just want to do a quick reminder. If you're wondering how to achieve this look, make sure you check my channel. I have a video called Clean Icons. These are a pack of clean icons that I've installed over my World of Warcraft setup, and those bar are coming from an add-on called Shared Media. So as soon as you install Shared Media, you're going to get the exact same look as those bar. You're not going to have the World of Warcraft glossy look. The same thing for the icon if you install those, or add-ons like Masky or things like that. It's going to help you get that square, clean look because it's been a question I've been asked a lot. So I just wanted to make sure I talk about it in this video. Of course, importing and updating those WeakAuras is going to be the exact same thing that you did to import them the first time, right? So you click on the link below. There's going to be 6 links. Those are actually the exact same link that you use to import those on the first time. All you do is you simply click on the link, you go to wego.io, you click the copy import string button, make sure you come back into here, click on new, import, paste them in. There's a new system right now with WeakAuras, so if you paste in a string that has the same name, a same group that you already have, it's going to let you update it. So you can use that feature. I cannot guarantee that it's going to be without bug. So what I suggest is that you simply delete all 6 group for DK and import them again. It's the exact same link from the exact same source. I simply updated them to what I call phase 2, right? So it's going to be pretty straightforward. Make sure you right click, delete children and group, import all 6 group again, and you're going to be ready to go. If you did some modification to yours, you can try to use the update feature. So without deleting them, simply go in here, import, paste it in, and it's going to detect. It's going to say, okay, so I know you already have this. Do you want to update it? And what do you want to update? And then you can try to play with this. If anything breaks, don't worry, delete it, import it again. Everything should be working fine. Those were currently released for 2.8.1, so you at least need WeakAuras 2.8.1. Otherwise, it's not going to work if you have anything lower than that. So make sure you get that updated, keep it updated, and make sure you check out for those new version releasing. If you have any suggestion, if you have any comments on those WeakAuras or things that you want to see improve, make sure you let me know in the comment below. You can also hit me on my Discord that is in the comment below, and on Wago, there's a comment section. You guys are going to be able to leave all kinds of comments on there. I really appreciate it. It helps me a lot, and it's making this process a lot smoother, being able to talk to you guys, know what you guys want. So that's gonna be it for this video. If you like it, make sure you leave a like. It really helps me. You can leave a comment. You can always visit me on Twitch, because I'm doing these videos live on Twitch. If you guys want to check me out, leave me a follow. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'm gonna see you in the other video. Until then, good luck in BFA, guys.